guys, thanks for joining me for Craft With Me Friday. So it's Friday night. We're going to do Craft With Me, and we're going to make some ephemera for the Italian ladies junk journals that I'm making. There's 3 of them in progress. We're going to work on things to go inside of pockets tonight. So that would be tags, that would be journal cards, that would be any type of like antique original ephemera, documents, whatever that I'm going to stuff in pockets, any type of pocket fillers basically. And then if we have time, we might start working on some of the pockets that I haven't made yet. I also am going to schedule another Craft With Me live for tomorrow morning to further work on the journals, just because we need to get them finished within the next week or 10 days or so. So anyway, we're going to start tonight with some pocket fillers and see where we get. Hello, Diana. Thanks for joining me. I see a couple of you hopping on, and I know that it takes Instagram and Facebook and YouTube all a little bit, 20 minutes or so, to notify everyone that the live video has started. So as more people come in, I'll wait just a couple minutes for more people to come in, and then we will get started. I hate to start without people. Hello, the Passionate Sticker Haul. If you would like me to call you by your first name, go ahead and type that in. That way I can call you that instead of Passionate Sticker Haul. But anyway, we're going to work on ephemera. So if you guys are crafting along with me, things that you might need, you might want to have supplies ready so that you can collage, like for a masterboard, to cut that up into tags and things like that later. If you have any of the like French fashion ladies or Godey's ladies or any type of Victorian fashion dressed women, we can use those to decorate the tags. I'm going to use birds, flowers, labels, all kinds of basic journal supplies, but I'm going to tailor it to things, you know, the individual ones that I pick out tonight to decorate the things I make with will be tailored to things that match the journal. So Shelly is on a train going home, just watching tonight. She's not crafting along. If you guys are going to craft along, tomorrow morning, I want to work on adding a whole bunch of lace and lace pockets to the journals. So you might, if you want to come craft with me in the morning, I will start the video at 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is 7 a.m. for me here in Mountain Standard Time. And I'm going to add lace to the page edges, or if I'm going to make a fabric ribbon or ruffle, then I'll add that to the page edges. I'm going to add lace to the pockets. Basically, tomorrow morning, I want to focus on more ephemera and adding all of the fabricy, lacy elements into the journal. I'm hoping by the end of the weekend, I will have the 3 journals almost done, and then the final video will be just adding all of the final touches, which is a whole bunch of teeny tiny little embellishing that needs to happen to make the journal feel more old, authentic. I think that kind of, it really is that last mile that I think sets journals apart. It can make or break whether somebody likes the journal or not, right? Because it's that finishing touches that, like, anyone can buy a digital kit. Anyone can make the journal from the digital kit. I think it's the way that you finish off a journal that kind of makes it stand out from other ones. Hello, Lacey. You don't have to have a journal kit. Everyone who's doing this, so there was nearly 50 people making the journal from the kit, but there is a whole bunch of other people making the journal without the kit. You never have to purchase the kits to participate in the Craft With Me's or anything, really. You never have to shop on my channel. You're welcome to come and you're welcome to hang out and craft along. There are lots of people making the journal without the kit and posting that into the Facebook group too. So yeah, you don't have to have a kit. You don't even have to make this journal. You could be just crafting along, making anything that you wanted to make, whether, you know, maybe you're working on a French journal and you're just crafting along, making, you know, pockets, tags for a French journal. Everything that I make as far as, you know, the tags and the things that go inside of pockets, You can redecorate any way that you want and make it go towards your journal if you're making one. If you're not making one and you're just hanging out, that's cool too. Some people just have me on in the background and they're just fussy cutting, or I don't know, doing whatever, sewing, who knows. So so I see several of you on now. Let me go ahead. I have 3 journals I'm working on. One of them has a signature sewn in already. 2 of them do not have their signature sewn in. I need to do that. One of them I've started adding pockets. The other 2 have nothing in. They're just blank at this point. So when I make the 3 together, I usually make one on camera with you, and then the other 2 are kind of like I'm making off to the side, off camera. I have been so busy that I have not had any crafting time in between our live crafting time, right? So the only time I've had is Fridays, Friday for 3 hours. So I am running a little bit behind on these 3. However, I think I can pull it together this weekend and get at least them all to the same stage. It's easier for my brain when they're all 3 journals are at the same stage. And that way I know, okay, well, you just need, maybe I need 12 pockets, but I need 12 pockets for each journal. So I need 36 pockets. It's just easier when they're all at the same stage for me. So yeah, I'm excited to work on them this weekend. I'm excited to get some crafting time in this weekend. And then next week, hopefully we can also get some bonus crafting time in. I will see how the week goes, but I want to make sure these journals are finished before we begin the next one. So even if that means, we got to have an extra session here or there, we'll do that to get them done. Joanne is here. She's listening, taking care of the horses. I understand. Hello, Joyce. That's awesome. Joyce is gonna fussy cut. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where I live, so for those of you that don't know, I live in Arizona, and we have horses on one side of me, and there's like cows on the other side, and then there's like the city on one side. I'm really on the outskirts of the city, so the city kind of stops right about where I'm at, and then there's some farms and that kind of thing. Not really the same kind of farms as other parts of the country, but there's some horses, like ranches, basically. There's some horses and things. They're pretty to look at, but man, I would hate to have to pay the feed bill for an animal that size. It just, I think they eat a lot of food, a lot of hay. So anyway, guys, how has your week been? Anyone have any exciting plans for the weekend? Because I'm hoping to get some crafting time in. That's my goal for this weekend, is to get some crafty time in. But I also have to work and get Tuesday stuff invoiced, or at least prepped and ready to invoice. So that's my weekend. What you guys got going on this weekend? Anybody doing anything fun, anything special? Have any big plans, any birthdays, anniversaries? Going on vacation soon? I don't know. I haven't been on vacation in a very long time. Like an actual trip where you go somewhere. I haven't been on vacation in a very long time. Once my son gets all better, hopefully we get some time to do that. Painting kitchen cabinets, that's fun. That's a really fun project. Now, sometimes that can get to be where it's not fun, but I think it would be fun to start. I don't know, maybe you have a million kitchen cabinets and it's just going to get to be where you can't do it. But painting kitchen cabinets sounds fun. I always wanted to, so the house that I'm in now, like the kitchen, it has nice cabinets, so, can't do anything with them. But I always wanted to have a house where you could paint the kitchen cabinets, because I wanted to paint them a cream color and then add that darker glaze over top so it seeps into all the little, I don't know what they call it, the little inset bits, so that you have the creamy white color. Not fun anymore. That's kind of what I thought, like in the beginning. but I wanted the creamy white, like antique distressed kitchen cabinet. So eventually, maybe I'll get a fixer-upper house and do that. I don't know with what time, but that would be fun. I'm sorry, Lacey, but I'm sure it's going to be beautiful when it's done. Dad's horses on vacay. I get it. Gonna watch some crafting tomorrow morning. That's awesome. It's unscheduled, so I don't know how big of a crowd we'll have, but we got to do it. So we're going to do it. I'll put this stream up for tomorrow morning when this one ends. So just know that it will be there, and it's going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for me in Arizona, it's 7. If you're in California, I think it's 6 a.m. It's going to go for 3 or 4 hours just so that I can get a whole bunch done. So I'll be on for a while. Hello, Melanie. Hello. Yeah, trying to do crafting on the weekend. I know. For people who work, getting crafting time in is probably really hard too. Dairies on 3 sides. Awesome. Working on your journal, it got very big. Well, my journals always get very big. I can't stop adding things to them. And it's just because, first of all, I sell my journals. My glasses, these are the cheap ones from Costco, the little readers. And the ends that go behind your ears, they need bent differently so that they don't slide up and down my face so much. But anyway, you can't really have them bent. I mean, maybe Costco does it, but I don't imagine you can have them bent when there are 4 pairs for like $12 or something. So anyway, I apologize for having to push my glasses up. I will have to do it a million times. But what I was talking about is, so when I'm making a journal, because I sell my journals, I want to pack them full of every little thing that my brain says needs to go in there, right? And so even if I overpack it and make it super big and fat and gator mouth, as long as the things can be removed and bring the journal back to a normal working size, I'm good with it. I don't want to make it so it's gator mouth with just the pockets. I never do that, because if it's gator mouth with just the pockets in, after people stuff stuff in, it's just not going to be like, it'll be completely open like on a book stand or whatever. It'd be such a pain. Nobody would want to work with it that way. So as long as stuff can be removed, I think huge, massive gator mouth is fine, because if you're selling the journal, it's just extra ephemera and extra, things, tags, whatever, journal cards that the new owner could take out and use in a different journal. They could use, completely different way. They could, I've had people take my journal cards out of a journal and make an actual greeting card out of my journal card. They use my journal card as the front of their card face, and repurpose it that way. And so, if your brain tells you it needs to go in the journal, then I say stick it in there no matter how fat it gets, as long as it can be removed. Before surgery, yes. I'm sorry. Hope all that goes well. I know the feeling of trying to get things taken care of before something major like that. So guys, I think I'm going to flip the camera down. We're going to get started. There's 30 of us here, so let's do it. So I pardon for the desk mess. I have been working for a little bit here before I turned the camera on. So yeah, we have desk mess. This one I was working in a little bit. This is the red one. This one is the green one we have been working in. And this one is the whitish colored one. I need to slide up right there-ish. I think my camera is moved. I don't know what happened. My cameras always reset themselves. But anyway, so these are the 3. For these 2, I was working on making this little pocket back here. Where's this little pocket at? This pocket. So I was making this pocket 2 more times to put it into these 2 journals. So far, this is what I've got with those. I decided on these two to do them a little bit differently. This one actually goes this way. This one has the large piece of book page there, coming down from the top. And then I'm going to put the little thingy somewhere on here, the little stamped fabric bit somewhere on there. And then I'm going to clip either this corner or this corner, depending on where it goes in the journal. And then this is one that has the large piece of book page at the bottom. And again, I'll just, place this wherever I think it needs to go and clip off one of the sides to make a tuck. This is the original one that we made, and it just has a little piece of book page. On these two, I decided to add much more book page to them. I just thought maybe it would look a little better. And you can see how I just snipped off the corner up here at the top. That's what I'm talking about. And then that's the pocket for that one. So I was working on those. I won't waste our time here today to finish them, but that's basically what's happening with that. For those that didn't see, the pockets that we made, last Friday together are, basically they were finished, but I added the little labels to them. So let me quickly run through the pockets. These were just very simple book page pockets. So it's book page glued to book page, or you could fold over book page, or you could use your glue book pages or whatever. I use rag paper book page. So that's the whole pocket base. And then it just has a little piece of Italian paper and whatever kind of decoration. So these were some of the prints from the kit. These were the pockets. You can see that little gold in the Italian paper. It's so pretty. So those were the finished ones we made last Friday. You can see I added some of this German paper tape. This one, put the little label there. Simple, simple little pockets. And all of these will not go in the same journal. I get that comment all the time. It's like, well, you made 15 of the same pocket. That's really boring. Well, if they're going in 3 journals or more, I just made a whole bunch of pockets. Anyway, that was last Friday. This Friday, we're going to make some tags. And somewhere I printed out the Rachel Roxy Creations tag kit. Let me see if I can find that. It's right here, I think. Yes. So pardon my reach in here. I have to reach right in front of the camera to get stuff out of this bin. I am out of space right here. And the room is so crowded with live sale stuff that I don't have any place to put things. Okay, camera. Come on. Focus, focus. And it looks really, really blue again. Let me adjust some settings on the camera. Just because you know how it is. It's just, it's just my friend. It doesn't like me and it resets itself every single day. I'm not sure that that is any better. Let me turn this light off and just, it looks so blue. I can't believe the tone of the color. It's the same camera that I use every single time. And it doesn't behave itself. It needs replaced. I think I'm going to get a nice, better camera here soon. Sorry. I'll leave it. I guess we can see, kind of. Let me move this back. Sorry, guys. I know you love it when I spend an hour playing with the camera, but it warmed it up a little bit there, I think. So as long as I can get it to focus, I think there might be okay. Let me try one more thing. It's just really a pain in the rear. Okay. Yes, definitely, Jennifer. Exactly. Most important thing is not cleaning off your dining table, but that the surgery goes well and you take care of yourself. Don't injure yourself or hurt yourself right before your surgery. Everything will wait for you, I'm sure, after the surgery. But I know the feeling of just like wanting to get it all done before you go do it. I'm very familiar with that feeling. Just take your time, go slow, and don't hurt yourself. Okay. these are Rachel's tags, and they are the tags for the Italian Ladies Junk Journal Kit. So if you're not familiar, Rachel from Roxy Creations on Etsy, you go over to her Etsy shop and just purchase and print your downloads for these. And so we're going to use these in a couple of different ways. Obviously, we're going to use some as tags, and then I'm going to use some as tucks or pockets also. So let's get started on those. Tonight, we're just going to work in this green journal, the one that we've been working in. I do need to add some beads, but that's a finishing touch. So we'll add those to the signature strings. Basically, these ones I printed on regular, it's like a premium 28-pound color copy paper, but I do have some that I printed out on cardstock, and those are the ones that I want to use first. These. Okay. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Maggie. Welcome. Hello, Jennifer. I don't think I said hello to you. So this page I love. I absolutely want to use those as tags. The easiest way to do it, since these are so beautiful, I don't want to do too much of anything to the fronts of them because I think these three are probably my favorite, but I am going to add coffee dyed paper to the back. I printed them on a lightweight cardstock. So when I add coffee dyed paper to the back of it, cut them out, they'll be good to go. But let's find some, and these ones here might be a good choice for the tucks too. Let's try to work on the tucks here for a minute. So in the journal, actually I might work on the tags, I'm sorry. Let's save tucks for tomorrow morning because I'm hoping to glue them in right when we make them. Okay, let's just work on these tags quick. Simple, simple, simple tags. I'm going to do minimal embellishing because these are so beautiful. First thing I need is a sheet of coffee dyed paper because I want to glue it to the back. You can cut out your tags and then glue coffee dyed paper or glue them to coffee dyed paper, or you can just glue a sheet. I'm going to use this one. So this one has a lot of like dark, coffee dye marks on it. I'm going to use that one. So there's two ways, like I said, to go about it. You can cut out your tag and then glue your tags to your coffee dye paper so that you don't waste any coffee dyed paper. Or you can just take this sheet and glue a sheet of coffee dyed paper to the back of it and then cut them out. It depends on how precious your coffee dyed paper is to you. This one has quite a bit of white space. So we probably are better just cutting them out quick and then gluing them down. If this was a different kind of paper, like it had decoration everywhere all over it, I would just glue it to the coffee dye and then cut out whatever I wanted because I'd be able to use the rest of it. But because I can't use this white part, I mean, you can, but I'm probably not going to. I'm just going to cut these out first. And I probably could have done this with the paper chopper. Let's cut off the strip at the bottom so I can see where I need to cut. Anyway, so I'm going to work on the journals this weekend, and I hope to get them almost done so that we just have finishing touches to do next Friday. My paper wiggles. It just wiggled again. Yeah, I'm so excited to see these like come together. For me, the things seem to come together really quickly at the end. I'm going to do this again too this way. So I'm super excited for that. I cannot wait. Because right now they're all in bits and pieces and it's like, it kind of looks like a hot mess. And I need them, for my own sanity, I need them to come together. So yeah, basically that's where I'm at, is I just am getting impatient and want them to, look cohesive and have a nice cohesive theme to them. I'm just really struggling with this right now. And it's because I should have used the little paper trimmer. But I didn't. I grabbed the big one out of the room. My craft room is across the hall, and I guess I could run over and get things when I forget, but I always feel like, you know, we can just make do without it, and then I end up having to do things twice. So I'm just going to make these really quick, and I want to show you the simple way to embellish something that's already a printed tag. You don't have to just leave them plain. You can add a couple little things, you know, embellishments, things to decorate them. And then that way it's not just, you know, a printed tag. I guess. Let me just, okay, hang on. We're struggling with it and we don't need to. At this point, it's just easier to cut it. So I just want to show you guys the quick, easy way of decorating pre-printed, you know, tags from digitals. And then we'll make some of our own ephemera. And tonight I want to use a lot of actual antique documents and ledger pages and things like that. I feel like so far we've been using stuff that came in the kits, and I want to use a bunch of original things. So that's good too. Like, even though I might use original stuff tonight, you guys can photocopy stuff or use digitals. You don't have to use your originals. I'm going to use them just because I have, you know, enough I can spare it. But I understand, you know, you might just want to copy yours so that you can use it that way. So let's get these guys done quick. Yes, I do. You'll see it right here. So for these, I'm just going to take, this is supposed to be blue Uhu, but it's not. It's it's turned white. Most of them in Arizona, they just don't last. Just make sure that you get glue everywhere. Don't leave any type of gap where you don't have glue. And then just try to line it up. Normally, I would stick my head right under this camera and line it up. That way, I don't have to cut the bottom or this edge over here. If you line that first one up here and here, then when you cut around it, you just cut these two edges. It's just a little bit of a time saving to not have to cut that extra edge. Let's get this one down. It is better whenever your glue's blue though, because then you can see where you have glue and where you don't have glue. And then I don't put them right up next to each other. I do leave a little tiny gap there, and that's just, you know, for cutting. So I don't have to accidentally nick one of the sides of the tags. So I just left this tiny little gap in between them. And, you know, all I'm really accomplishing by not gluing the full sheet down is just saving a tiny, tiny scrap amount of coffee dyed paper. If you are the kind of person that you know, you're not going to use these tiny scraps of coffee dyed paper anyway, then I would say save yourself the trouble of all of this and whatever, because basically you have to cut it out twice when you do it this way. If you're not going to use your scraps of coffee dye paper, then just go for it right away and glue that full sheet of coffee dyed paper to the back. Okay, hands are good and sticky now. So if you glue your paper down to the, you know, if you don't cut them out first, so you just glue your paper down, you're going to watch right here, and I'm going to have to cut it out twice because I already cut it once, and now I'm going to cut it out again. I see a little bit of a white edge here that I'm also trying to get off. And so then to save the largest piece of coffee dyed paper, I cut it like this. That way I've got this big strip of coffee dyed paper. And we haven't made notepads yet for these journals. I typically do put a notepad in every journal I make. So we might use the strip right here to make a notepad out of. Normally, when I make a notepad, I just use scraps anyway. So we're just going to do something quick and easy, and then we'll get into other things. I did get a new corner punch from Amazon. And supposedly it cuts like little tag corners. And so we might try that out when we make some tags tonight. I've seen lots of YouTubers getting it. And so, you know, if it makes it where you don't have to flip over the little corner that you cut off and try to line that all up and stuff, I think it might be a good thing. So let's give that a try when we make some of our own tags here in a minute. The glue is still ever so slightly wet, so if you were making it home, probably wait for your glue to dry is a good idea. And then you can sew around these if you wanted to. If you're using a strong glue like Uhu, you probably don't need to. But if you wanted to add a little more embellishment, just because these are just printed tags, you could sew around it. If I was going to sew around it, and I might, but the sewing machine's in the other room, so if I did sew around it, I would probably do a straight stitch all the way around and maybe a little tiny bit. Like on this one, I would just do a straight stitch all the way around and then maybe a little bit of zigzag in one little area as a decoration. That's how I like to do mine. You can do yours any way that you want to if you're going to sew around them. And so then for decoration, so now they're coffee dyed, right? That was the whole point of all of that. For decoration, easiest thing ever, washi tape, that German paper tape, a label, very simple decoration. Another thing that we can do is we can add some little lace tabs up at the top, and that also adds another element since, you know, it's kind of a plain tag. If we don't embellish, it's kind of plain. Let's see what I have. Let's do, this is right here. I had to look for it, but it is right here. Let's do a couple different things on these. So let's do the German paper tape on one of them. And, you know, obviously I want it to come down from the edge. So maybe that one or maybe this one. Let's do that on one. Let's do a fabric tab at the top on one. And then let's do a label on the other. And I did pre-cut out a whole bunch of Rachel labels, so we can kind of pick one of those quick. I don't think I want to put the red on the red. Maybe we could put it here. There is a little bit of red in her dress, so maybe it could go here. The other thing that's bothering me is the way that the stripes are going. Do I have a different piece? Kind of, sort of. This one is really, really thin, but I do like it better. So let's do this one. For it just, the horizontal stripes were kind of, I don't know, driving my eyes crazy. I just didn't like it as much. So this is a scrap of the ticking that was included in your kit. If you don't put yours, so here I put it down the center. If you don't put it in your journal this way, you can just use it to decorate with. So I just made a little piece that I'm planning on probably tiny attacher and just kind of staple it up there at the top. It's a little long, so I'm going to cut off a little bit more. And then we're just going to staple that up at the top. So if I'm going to do this, I probably won't sew it, because if I was going to sew, I would just sew on my tab. Does that make sense? If I'm going to sew, then I'm just going to sew everything. And if I'm not going to sew, then I'll tiny attacher attach it. Here we go. And so there's a tab on that one. That's not really part of the decorating, but I just thought we would do it. I just need to pick out which one of these. It might be this one. And then we need a little label for something. I don't want to spend 5 years looking for a label either. I kind of feel like that is how it goes, though. Are we just going to stick a label right on our dress? I think we might be. I don't know. Let's glue this on this one, because I'm pretty sure that's the one I wanted on. And so If you don't have this German measuring tape stuff, maybe a piece of washi tape. I do have washi tape, so we can get some of that out too. And I know that this piece is really long, like I left this extra long tail right here. That's just the way that this comes with the numbers and all of that. So I'm going to put this on where I want it, and I'm going to wrap around the rest to the back. It's kind of at a point, which isn't really ideal, but we're doing it. We're wrapping it around to the back side. And then I will cut my point again. So I've wrapped it to the back side right here, and it's just a little tiny extra decoration, and then I just recut my point. There we go. And then let me see. I need a label for this one, and I don't really want to put the rooster in the roses. It's the good one for color, but maybe this one. That one works, and I'm not going to spend a year looking. So we're good. Now this guy still needs, all of them still need a little bit more. Another easy thing to do to add a little more embellishment to them is to go ahead and put the holes in. So normally a tag would have a hole reinforcer, right? We have a shipping tag handy right here. So normally a tag would look like this with a hole reinforcer at the top. This one looks a little different because it's got the different kind of hole reinforcer, but all of mine do, I guess. So another good thing to do to kind of dress it up is to go ahead and put hole reinforcers on them. So quickly do that. We're going to do it to both of these, I think. You can measure, you can, do whatever it is that you want to do as far as getting this in the center or placement. I'm going to eyeball it. So I put the first one on. Hello, Christy. So put the first one on and then hole punch the hole in the first one, because that shows you where it is on the back side where you need to, I can't see it, where you need to put your hole reinforcer back here. Okay. So now that's looking a little better on that one. Let's go ahead and do it on this one too. Yeah, let's do it. And then let's put some pretty lace or ribbon or something like that through the hole reinforcer. My fingers are just constantly in the glue today. I need to repunch. We're getting there. Okay, and then to the back. Hole reinforcer, and I just take the ink dauber and color in my hole reinforcers. So you can buy them and they come in metallic colors sometimes. That's another option, but just take your ink dauber, this little guy, and just color your white ones. You can have them pre-colored in a bunch of different colors. That's also a good activity for grandkids. If you want to give them something to do in your craft room, you can give them some different colors of ink pads and let them color in some hole reinforcers for you. Okay, so this one is not punched perfectly. Let me see if I can slide that down. Nope, it's stuck. Okay, that's fine. Let me adjust my front side. Yeah, we're going to put lace through it anyway. And then let's glue on our label. A little bit of bling. Yes, bling would be good. I normally don't use a lot of bling, but I have a lot of bling. I should use it. I just think I forget. Okay, let's get this label on. My glue is already getting sticky from being open. All right, There we go. And then let's put some lace through. Lace through the tops of these two, and we need something else for that one. For lace, my lace is in this bin right here. Let me see if I can grab anything out quickly. It is just easier maybe to... No, it's not. Let me see what I can find in the lace bin. So we can use this. And so if you have a wide lace like this, just cut it up the center. Now I did make this for a tab, and we don't have a tab, we have holes. So let me redo that. Luckily, I have lots of it. I'm just going to leave it pretty long, and we'll cut it. You can always cut down lace for the tops of your tags. So if you don't have the skinny kind, because skinny lace, for whatever reason, seems to be a lot harder to find. I always do that wrong. You have to double it first. Skinny lace seems to be a lot harder to find than wide lace, at least for me. So I've folded it in half, poked it through, and then kind of cinched up the top into a little loose knot. And for now, I'm just going to leave this. I might trim it. I might not. I don't know yet. I need to see which pocket it goes in. So it will normally get trimmed kind of like that. And we have these little pieces. We'll leave them. But for the other one, let me see if we have something different. It's not really supposed to take an hour to do it. And even when I try to be quick, it still takes me a little bit. Let's just do the same. They won't be together, so let's just do the same. Just because it's quick, and this was supposed to be a quick project. I need to put little bits in my other bin. So I need something in this area on this tag. And so there's that one. Okay. I'm happy with these two. You could do a little more embellishing. You could add a little bit of like text paper or something. We might. But we do have some washi. I have a little bit of like scripty washi tape. Maybe we just add a little torn piece of that on here. And then maybe go in with another label. I think so. So you can just keep going like I'm doing. I said simple and quick. And it keeps going. So I'm going to add this little piece of washi down here. And then I'm just going to fold that over to the back. I might add a little label or I might not. I kind of wish I would have added the washi underneath that one, but it doesn't go as well on that tag. It's too dark for this one. So let me save this piece of washi. And when I save washi, I just stick it to whatever craft bin is nearest to me because it's plastic and it comes back off of it. Let's see what other washi we have that would be lighter in tone. Well, I don't like any of the other ones I have in front of me. No, I don't like any of the other ones I have in front of me. So in that case, what about like a little butterfly? Like a little butterfly? No, I can't do it. I'm looking for things that are in front of me. So maybe a flower, a bling, a something, a little lacy cluster would be good there. Or worst case scenario, we just do another label because it's in front of me and it's easy. It needs something right there, and I think that looks pretty, so let's just do it. And I didn't ink around these labels or anything. I just glued them on. Okay. So that's it, unless I come back and add a little label. I don't think, let me look and see if this bin has my other labels in it. I printed out a whole bunch of more labels before we started today because I don't have enough labels in this room. This bin does have some little ones. So like just a little, they already have numbers here though. So I want something scripty or different. Can you guys can't see. This is a bin of little labels. These ones I've had for years and I'm just slowly working through them. I mean, I don't see anything that isn't a number, and I already have a number. So I'm going to hold off on doing this right at this moment. But we might come back in and put something there. I just don't want to take all of our time to fuss around with that. But you can see even, you know, you could take a tag that was just a plain printed, you know, cardstock tag. You don't have to do any of this. You could just cut this tag out. You don't even have to ink the back, and you could just stick it in a journal. A lot of people make and sell journals that are like that, where they just use the pre-printed ephemera, they cut it out, and that's the tag. But I think really quickly you could add a little bit of embellishing and make them, you know, a little different. So that's the 3 of those so far. I mean, it's nothing special necessarily, but it's a little bit more embellished than it was before. Sorry about the camera. It is what it is. Okay, so there's a quick 3 little tag thing that we made. Let's do some antique ledger tags. And then we'll come back and use some more of this pre-printed ephemera maybe to decorate with. Let me grab some ledger. Hello, Kendall. Kendall has been crafting all day. Wow, I am jealous, Kendall. Yay! She's going to sew in her signatures. To me, when you sew in the signature, it always feels like a finished book, like you actually made something. Before we sew in a signature, it's like parts and pieces in my brain. Crafted by Christy is working on a cover from Masterboard. That's awesome. It's wanting to crack in the spine. Honestly, not really. Yeah, you pretty much got to cover it up if it's going to crack. Fabric, washi. I mean, you could put washi down the thing. You could put lace down the spine. You could cover it with another piece of paper that isn't going to crack, and collage down the spine. Okay, let's get those ledger pages out. So I know this is an Italian journal, but I don't feel the need that everything needs to be Italian in an Italian journal. I feel like we can use other kinds of ledger. I had some pulled, but I don't know where I put it. So let me find some more. I kind of just, I want a specific ledger, so I guess I am going to look in here for it. I shouldn't have put this, let me just pull it, because here's the problem. This bin is where pretty much everything is. It's a hot mess. I did come in here and organize this bin before I started today, but this is the stuff I need, and there is literally no other place for me to set it, not even on the floor behind me. It's too full. This is the ledger that I want right here. This one is from 1820s, and it's on this nice thick rag paper. So let's start with that one, but let me also pull out these 2 so that we can use those. And I do apologize for flapping everything in your face. Let me just put this in my chair and stand for a little bit. I'm standing already anyway, so we might as well just go with it. And then this bin of lace, it's a huge bin. I can like get it out of our face there. So let's start with this one. And we're just going to make some simple tags with ledger on them. And then I'm going to fussy cut some Victorian women and put those on there. So pick whichever side of the ledger you like best. I like this side best. For me, all I'm going to do is glue a piece of coffee dyed paper back there on the back side. And then I'm going to cut out my tags from that. So here's another piece of coffee dyed paper. This is the side that I don't want. The good side is underneath. I mean, they're all good sides, but you know what I mean. So let me see if I glue my paper this way. We're not losing anything on that side, so that's good. Let's glue our paper. I guess this side of the coffee. I'm trying to decide which side of the coffee dyed paper I like. Let's glue it this way. Okay. So I'm just going to glue an entire sheet of coffee dyed paper to this ledger page. And this is for two things. A, it's the writing space on the back of these tags. And B, it's going to help strengthen and sturdy up my ledger page. Even though, you know, it's thick rag paper ledger, I just feel like adding another layer will help it. And if I left it just the ledger page, you would have no writing space on the back. So we're going to glue an entire sheet of coffee dyed paper to our ledger page. And I am trying to get glue everywhere, but this one's white, so I cannot see. And then I'm going to line it up as best as I can here in the corner. I don't really want to waste any ledger page, especially one from the 1820s. So I'm trying to line it up good. I think we got it. And then just wait a minute for that to kind of settle. I'll run a bone folder, squeegee, whatever kind of thing you have. Whoop. Over that, just to kind of smooth out any air bubbles that we have there. And then I'm going to give that a minute before I cut it. And then we're going to make tags out of that one. Now let's do another one. Let's do one that looks like this. So you can see when I say I save myself the torn, ledger pages and stuff to craft with, when this one came out of the book, it just tore itself to pieces. So these are the kind that I normally save for myself for crafting, because I'm going to tear them up anyway. So might as well do it that way. And so we have a tear here. I'm going to keep this side as the good side, and I'm going to glue a piece of coffee dyed paper back here. This where it's torn, I'm just going to leave it for now and see how it looks after I get coffee dyed paper over it. It may be where once I glue coffee dyed paper over this tear, it strengthens it up enough where, I don't have to tear off this piece and lose it. On this page, I really do want to go across the whole thing here because I don't want to lose this header that's here, this person's name. So I'm going to glue it that way this time. Remove this. Yes, please post pictures. You guys have been so good about posting in the new Facebook group. I love that. That's awesome. I love seeing what everybody makes. I haven't had a lot of time to spend in there, but this weekend I hope to be able to get to leave a comment on everybody's things. I know I'm like 2 days behind in Facebook. I will be happy when this glue stick is finished so I can use the blue one again. So as long as I don't have any chunks of glue, I'm good. And I didn't need to glue the entire page because there is going to be overhang, but I did. So you turn this around so I don't have to struggle with it quite as much, lining it up. So after this, we're going to cut the first one we did. I did a pretty good job lining it up. I'm not going to say it was perfect, but pretty good. Okay. And then this little overhang piece, we're just going to leave for the moment. We'll cut that off here in a second. Okay, back to the first one we did. Let's cut out our piece. You could tear it also. I'm just going to cut it for time's sake. The 1820s ledger is pretty precious, so I do try to not waste any if I can avoid it. And so for my ephemera, because these journals are a single signature journal and I'm going to pack them full, I am trying to make my ephemera out of things that are thinner. So not like a big thick piece of cardstock, which is why I'm trying to make it where it's got copy dyed paper on the back, or you know, two book pages glued together, that kind of thing. So in a perfect world, you would have let this dry all the way before you started cutting into it or whatever. But basically, we made ourselves a really nice sheet of antique French rag paper cardstock with coffee dyed paper on the back. So my mat is getting a wee bit sticky because I've been gluing on it. Let me give that a clean. Okay. Faux aged tape for tears. You absolutely could. I'm going to cut these up for little tags and stuff. So you would just have to make sure that your tape wasn't going to interfere with what you were going to cut up and make it into. Today you made an envelope out of Italian rag paper and the Florentine paper and lace. Yes, Kendall. Yes to all of that. What do you do with the journal when it's done? Well, you know, you could keep it. You could sell it. We are at nearly 600 members in the Facebook group. When we get to 1,000, which, you know, a couple weeks, maybe. I don't know how fast it's going to grow, but a couple weeks, maybe. Then we can start posting things for sale in the Facebook group. And so as people are watching you, so here's another reason. If you're not posting and you're making things and you think maybe you might want to sell things, if you post pictures as you're making them, people watch you make it, and, you know, generally someone will, hey, I really loved seeing you make that. When you post it for sale, they will want to buy it. So I think you guys can use the Facebook group like that too. Post what you're making, and then if you intend on selling it, you know, post it for sale in the group, and probably someone will pick it up from you. So let's go ahead and cut this. It's not perfectly dry, but let's go ahead and cut it. Okay. So I think this guy can be cut in this. We'll see if he will fit in here. He does. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to make about a 7-inch tall tag. Let's make an 8-inch tall tag. Let's just go for it. It's roughly 8 inches. And that also left me enough to make another tag this way. So There's one. And then on this side, I'm going to go about 3.5 inches wide. It's going to leave me a little bit of a weird, so 3.5. And then I've got this piece. This I might save and make a big journal card out of. Just because if I cut a tag, I'm going to be left with just, so if I cut a 3.5-inch tag, I'm going to be left with just this strip right here that is basically plain, blank, nothing. So I'm going to make this a giant journal card. I think that's a good way to use that. Let's go ahead and do these 3 while the other one is drying. So we're working here now. And then I know, but Wendy, I understand a lot of groups have a lot of rules. Trust me, I've learned that a lot. So that one of the main goals of my group was to allow you guys to sell the things that you make, because I'm selling all the time, right? So like, you know, other people want to do it too. So the Facebook group is a good place to do that. These are not the printed digitals that I want. I'm looking for the ones I printed today. I printed out some Victorian ladies and some tags. There was a giant stack of papers that I printed. Where did I put those? Hold on 2 seconds while I look for things. Oh, right here. That I've lost. When I say I printed, you know, a giant stack, I printed a giant stack of things. I printed whole big bunches of things to play with. And I also brought in some doilies to play with. So let's put the doilies up there and let's find what we want on these. So just because there is ledger here, I don't want anything else with handwriting, but I might add a little bit of book page behind whatever Victorian lady we're going to use. Some of you guys recently purchased the printed packs of these ladies, not necessarily these specific ones. I just printed a whole bunch of random things that I had. So you may or may not have these ones, but I'm looking for ladies that will fit on these this card entirely. These ones are just a little bit too big. I don't want to put children on them. Let me scooch up a little bit so you guys can see better. I did print out some of these heads and I want to use those on tags. Basically, they're Victorian women and their hats, their headwear. There's these ones. Let me find one that will work good on this giant journal card. I don't write in junk journals. I don't. First of all, I'm not, this is going to sound weird. I'm not into journaling. I'm into old paper and I'm into making journals. I love making journals, whether I sold them or not. I love them. I think they're beautiful. If I didn't sell them, I would just keep all of mine. They're so beautiful. I would just have a shelf of journals. I'm not into journaling. To me, I don't really have that much of an exciting life. I don't think that there's honestly a whole lot to journal. Like, what would I journal about? Like, I don't know. For me, this is an option for decorating those. I just don't know what I would journal about. You know, maybe in the future, there might be something. I don't know. I just don't do it. It's really only for the reason of I don't think I live that much of an exciting life, and I don't know what I would journal about. I just can't imagine my kids. Again, this sounds terrible from a journal maker and seller and all of that kind of stuff, but I just don't see my kids sitting there reading, you know, whatever I wrote about that day. It just seems kind of weird to me. Like, I just don't think my kids are going to do it. So for me, I'm not into the journaling, but you don't have to be into the journaling to make the journals and enjoy the process and all of that kind of stuff. So let's fussy cut some of these ladies out. I think I like this green dress lady because her dress is not really wide. So I'm going to cut her out. And I'm going to read your guys' comments as I'm cutting. I mean, I do kind of have to look at the paper, but I'll look up and read the comments too. That's all I can be, right? That's all I can be. So, you know, I could come on here and, oh, look at me journal, but I don't, that's not me. Yeah, that's all I can be, is honest like that. And there are a lot of journal makers who do not journal. They don't. They make journals and they enjoy that process and that, you know, creative time. And that's great. Like, not everybody has to be into the whole entire thing. I could see maybe like if I took like a special trip, or if there was a special event or something specific that, you know, I wanted to journal about. Like maybe if I was younger and my kids were little, or I was pregnant and, you know, I was making a journal or having a journal and writing in it about, you know, those kind of experiences, I could see it. It's just maybe the stage of my life that I'm in right now. You know, I don't do very much other than, you know, work and make journals and things. So to me, if I wrote in a journal, if I journaled, this is how my journal entries would go. I'm going to write in a journal about making journals. My life is basically making journals and finding fabulous antique paper. So yeah, I don't have a lot to journal about right now. But, you know, if I was in a different stage of my life, maybe. Inspirational quotes. See, I have thought about making a journal to keep quotes in, or to keep specific things. Like I would like to have a fabric swatch journal where when I find a fabric that I absolutely, absolutely love it, I take a little tiny swatch and I just keep a record of all these fabrics that I loved. I don't need to keep the huge thing of it, but just a little swatch of it would be cool. So I could see different kinds of journals, but just sitting out and writing out like my day-to-day life, no. I could see a gratitude journal, and maybe that would be helpful to do like right before I go to bed every night. I'm writing out the things that, you know, I'm most grateful for that day. I could see those kinds, but just, you know, writing about my life, I don't see me doing it. Let me go turn down my air conditioning. I'll be right back. So Arizona doesn't typically have a lot of humidity, but today we have a lot of humidity, which just makes the heat feel lots worse. You do art journals. I love art journals. Definitely do those. So I think she will fit on probably either of these, to be honest. I probably want this one that way. Maybe put her on there. And then I need a wider one. We could have this blue dress lady with the little girl. That's an option. The pink dress I think is too wide. Plus I kind of had to cut into it a little bit. I don't think it would be terrible. Let me just fussy cut this pink one out just because it's here. I'm going to start up here where I've already cut. Let me just kind of cut what I know I don't need, and then we'll go back. I could see journals for different things, but I can just imagine my children being like reading my journal after I'm gone, or maybe my granddaughter or something. And maybe, you know, maybe that's the point of it, and it would be fun for her. But like, you know, oh, grandma, you know, grandma had a live sale and grandma packed some packages. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that my life is at the point where it's journal worthy right now. I'm at the, busy stage of making journals and doing that kind of thing. I don't think anyone would want to read about it. They could just watch my YouTube videos, right? My grandkids could just watch my YouTube videos if they really cared. Anyway, how many of you guys are actually into the journaling part of it? And how many of you guys are just into the journal making aspect? Or maybe you're at one stage with hopes of doing the other at some point. Because, things evolve, things change. Just because we're at one stage now doesn't mean we're going to be at that stage forever. Like I said, a life event could come around and then I could want to journal about it. But for the last year, I've been pretty busy with this. Maybe if I had a pet that I wanted to journal about, I might keep a journal just to keep more like the photos and like the goofy things that pets are doing all the time and just kind of keep a record of that maybe. I don't know. I could see lots of reasons to have a journal, but they just, then there's the time of having to sit and actually do the journaling. So truthfully, her dress would have came out a little more on this side, but it was the side that was near the lady in the green dress. So I did trim her a little bit. I think she looks fine like that. Still on the train. Wendy, I don't know about that. I don't know that they would. Shelley saves things from this point of and paint my memories. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't take any trips or events, or I mean, I occasionally do like a movie with one of my kids or something. But again, like I just don't think it's that exciting. Maybe a different, like if I took a trip or something. Yes. Use yours as a scrapbook. Absolutely. I could see that. Again, if I was doing like stuff for if I had younger kids or something, I could see that. Definitely. Yeah. Cool. Yes. Journaling as therapy. Absolutely. I could see that too. Okay. We need a lady for this one. She needs to not have such a wide dress. I'm going to save this just in case I need to use the little head. Where is that frame? I've had one of these little Tim Holtz white frames floating around since we did a journal kit a while ago. Right here, one of these guys floating around. And I think her head might just fit in there. Sorry for reaching in front of the camera. This little scrap, it was the edge of the paper here, and we cut a lady out here. Maybe we get lucky, we can finagle somebody's head in there. That's not bad looking. It's not terrible. We'll see about it. Let's set that off to the side for now. I won't throw it away was my point. Oh, that's cool, Joyce. That's really cool. That's also true, Melanie. The 12 by 12s were kind of hard to store for me. After you made the scrapbooks, they were kind of big. I think junk journals are a little bit better for, scrapbooking. Okay. We need a lady with not such a wide dress. All of these ones have wide dresses. Let's see what else we can find. Maybe the lady in the purple and just not the whole dress. I love this lady with this red dress with the roses, but I think she's too wide. I mean, she's not too wide. Let's just do it. I don't want to pick forever. And I tried to pick ladies that had, we'll see if I was successful, that had colors of dresses that go in the journal pages we already have. So these are just prints of original pages from, Godey's or Peterson's or the French fashion or, any of those ones. She had a headpiece that I'm just cutting off right now. Her hat had kind of like a veil on it. Let me see. I put one of the aprons on the inside of the masterboard. Oh, yes, perfect. To use the fabric. Perfect. That's one of the great things about vintage aprons is even if you're not into wearing the aprons in the kitchen, using the fabric, repurposing it. It's another one of those things where if we don't use it, we lose it. Okay, so truthfully, this little girl here kind of comes into this lady's dress. Her arm is actually coming in there. I'm not going to worry about it. Either I will completely 100% leave it, or I will put like a label or some other embellishment over it if it bothers me. There's ruffles down here at the bottom, so I'm just wiggling my scissors to cut around them. Okay, there's that lady. Let's see. I'm not sold on her 100%. Let's see what else we have here. So if I stick her on there, we would have to put a label over this lady's arm. I think we're just going to do that. There isn't really another place for a label anyway. So let's just put a label right here once we get those all glued down. Now the question is, do I want book page or something behind them? And I think I probably do, just because I need another layer. I've been pulling pages out of this German book just because it's right in front of me. But we're in the section with the little wormy holes, and I would rather keep those to like stick in a journal as a page, in the signature. I like to save the wormy ones where people will actually be able to see the worm holes. So I don't want to use it for collage right now. This is rag paper, German rag paper. Let's figure out if we want it or we don't want it. I know for sure I don't want this top section or these sides. So maybe we put like a little ground where she could stand on it. I don't know. I don't want to cover up the ledger, but I do want something back there. It's not really wide enough either. Let me try this one. So if I just try to get it right there. Let me try that. And then I could cut off the excess here in a second. So if we put her here, my tag is all the way down here. I think we will do that on this one. So let's glue some German rag paper down on this. Oh, Helen, I'm sorry. Crafting is definitely a good way to spend your time, especially, if you're going through a little something. Not that that's a little something, but if you're going through something, any type of art, is so beneficial. It helps ease, you know, your mind, and I don't know, you're busy working on something, and I think it helps. Well, I've not had to go through something like that. I have had to go through lots of other things in my life where, you know, if I didn't have crafting, I don't think it would have been the same. I think crafting definitely has helped me overcome quite a bit of, I'm just going to say, obstacles in my life. I think we got that pretty good there. Let's let that glue down. Let's let that dry a little bit, and then let me come in and cut off the excess, and then we'll glue her down. And we're starting to curl a little bit just because we're working on one side of the tag, but that's going to be that one here in a second. Let's figure out some German page for that. So several years ago, I was very sick. And when I crafted, it was basically the only time I had a, you know, kind of like an escape from the pain of what physical ailments I had. And so for me, a lot of my crafty stuff started during that time because A, I wasn't working because I was ill, and B, just mentally stepping away from that constant, for me it was pain, it is still pain, just stepping away from that, constantly in my mind, the pain of it, focusing on something like I'm doing right now, it was very helpful to me. Everyone's situation is different, right? But for me, it made a big impact. I don't want to cover up that much of my ledger. Let's see how this looks. Actually, I might want a different page, and I can't really tell at this stage. Let me see. I'm just going to glue it. If I hate it, we can cover it up. Yeah, I think art helps a lot of people with a lot of different things. And I think physical and mental things, right? So there are rehabilitation centers for people who have like severe physical disabilities, and they're teaching them art therapy because it has been proven medically to enhance their recovery, right? And then also there's people that are you know, have dealing with some mental illness, and art therapy has long been used to help with that. So I think art therapy is a really good thing. Art in general is a really good thing. I need a wider book page for this one and a different color. So let me put this off to the side. Let's use this book page for this one. Let's try it. So this one is also a rag paper page. A lot of people donate their unused art supplies to places that do that kind of therapy. Senior living, or what are they called? Nursing home kind of facilities. They often have some sort of art class. And so if you're ever wanting, like, you know, somebody mentioned earlier, Kendall, or somebody mentioned, what am I going to do with my journal when I'm done with it? And I'm not necessarily suggesting you donate, you know, a whole journal or whatever, but if you make cards and you make, you know, more than you're going to be able to use, there are lots of places where you can donate your cards to. That's just too much. Where you can donate your cards to, and they send them to people who need, a little pick me up. I think this is good here. Oh, Joyce, I'm sorry. Yep, Shelly. Yep. If you guys ever want to know where to donate cards or craft supplies or whatever, I'm sure if you look at those, in your individual community, so there's schools, but honestly, lots of things do get donated to schools. I'm not saying don't donate there, but I'm saying lots of things do get donated to schools. But oftentimes people forget about the nursing homes or the older populations, or there might be like a facility that has maybe people recovering from injuries, or there might be an autism center in your neighborhood, and oftentimes they can use those art supplies and therapy for people there too. So what I'm suggesting is you look in your own community and find somewhere that maybe gets overlooked, might not be the first thing people think about when they think of donating something. Autism centers specifically, they don't get they don't get enough donations. Probably nobody gets enough donations, but they get overlooked a lot. Schools, I think, in general, people donate to schools. I know, when my kids were younger, we always donated stuff to schools and the teachers and whatever in the classrooms. But at that time of my life, I didn't think about all the other places that could use the supplies. But the other facilities often struggle with budgets just as much or more so than schools do. Okay, that's enough of that. I think she needs a little bit of ink around her. She's a little blending into that light colored ledger. So let me go ahead and ink around her a little bit. Sorry for reaching in front of the camera there. Yeah, sometimes things are, obviously too painful to work on, and it might be something where you got to work on it in little bits, when you feel like you can tackle it. A little bit here and a little bit there, Don't get overwhelmed. It's not a race to the finish, obviously, so just you all have to work at your own pace for anything in life, really. So I'm adding a little bit of ink there. And I think I'm going to attempt to add a little bit of ink over top of her whole entire thing. Normally, I probably wouldn't attempt to do that, especially when I'm this far into a project. But I just want to give her a little bit of color. Not only her skin tone looking a little pale, but this scan and printout just was a little more light than I want it to be. So I'm just very gently, with a nearly dry dauber, going over a little bit of her, kind of warming her up a little bit. Specifically her skin. Okay, now let's try gluing her on there. finished getting the house to sell. Aww. That's awesome. So as far as my health things, I definitely have. And I don't want to slip down the slope and go back. I have fibromyalgia, which obviously is not life threatening or anything like that. It's not a serious health condition. It's just one that impacts your every single day. When I was really, really sick before, I had uterine cancer and I was 33. And, you know, that's pretty young. But uterine cancer, if you catch it early, honestly, it's probably, this is going to sound terrible, it's probably the best cancer to have because, at 33, I had already been divorced and probably wasn't going to get remarried and have kids. So you basically just have surgery and get some treatment, and then you can kind of overcome that. So as far as cancer goes, that was probably the best one to get. But I was very sick, lots and lots of other health conditions just at the same time. And, anytime you deal with chronic pain, it just wears on you 24/7. It still does. You guys hear me. Sometimes I say I need to go take my pain medicine. It's because I need to go take my pain medicine. It just wears on you all day long. And, there was a time in my life where I was quite cranky about like the pain, and I'm still cranky about the pain. It still gets me because for those of you that don't know, fibromyalgia is not, they don't really know what it is, but it's basically widespread body pain. For me, this is how it is. It's different for probably other people, but for me, this is how it is. So it's widespread body pain. And the best way I can explain it to people is it is like every single day of your life, all day long, 24/7, whether you're sleeping or awake, as if somebody had taken a baseball bat and beat your entire body with it. And people are like, oh, that sounds so dramatic. No, it really, really feels like that. If you imagine when maybe, you were younger or something and you had to move houses. And I'm not talking about when you were young and you had to move apartments and you didn't have that much stuff. But like maybe when you were married and you had kids and you had to move and you had to physically do the work yourself to move, and you were moving boxes and furniture and whatever all day long, or maybe for several days. And the morning, if you've ever done that, the morning when you wake up after moving and your whole entire body just hurts and you're kind of miserable feeling, that's pretty much how it is every second of every single day. And while I can laugh about it at this very moment, there are times where, it really gets me down. But having this where I'm crafting and I'm doing something definitely helps. And so while that pain is definitely not the worst pain in the world, like there are people who suffer so much more, right? There are people who are dealing with pain that I couldn't even imagine. There are people that are dealing with emotional pain and the loss of a loved one and that kind of thing. And so I do try to be humble about the pain and understand that while I might be not feeling well and not happy, there are so many other people that are suffering and suffering from things that are far worse than what I'm suffering from. And so I try to keep that in mind. It's not always the easiest thing. And I do get crabby sometimes because of the pain, because it's something that it's just like there all the time and you carry it with you through everything that you do. Axe throwing, yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness, Diana. Goodness. Yes, stay safe. So anyway, that's the current health issue. The other issue has resolved. All right. Did we not find, I thought we found a lady for this one. Did I not find a lady for that one? I could have sworn that we had a lady out here for this one. Oh, we do. The red dress lady. I lost it. Let me give her a little bit of ink and then we're going to glue these on. Spending an hour on these. I'm sorry. I know it's not story time. Let me get these done. Okay. And she also could use a little smidge of color. Now I know her dress is white, but I'm just going to try to warm it up a little bit. That's better. Give her skin a little bit of skin color. Okay. I'm good with those. Let's glue those down. Gorgeous colored ladies. These ones are just scans of old fashion magazines that I have. If you guys want me to make you a digital of these ladies, I do have some that I've made in the past, but I don't think these ladies are in any of those. I think these ladies are newer scans. So if you guys want me to make you the digital of these, we can definitely do that. I just gotta have some Photoshop time. Do I want her up that far? Probably not. And I'm just gluing these down with glue stick, just because it's paper. It's not cardstock or anything like that. If I printed these out on a thicker paper or cardstock, I mean, it's 28 pounds, but if it was cardstock, I would be using art glitter glue. Okay. I might end up having to cut off some of that top of this one. I don't really want to, so let me just leave myself room for a label down there at the bottom. I think it is a little long, so I can cut off a little bit here and put like a label down here at the bottom. So we do have coffee dyed paper on the back of them. We could cut these two into tag shape if we wanted. For now, I'm just going to leave it. I just glue sticked my keyboard. Oops. Let's think about some labels. And do we want to make these into tags? I think I do want to make them into tags. So this is the new little corner punchy thing. I got it off Amazon. It's probably made in China thing. It does say made in China. So this is the brand name of it, I think. If you want to find it on Amazon, I don't have a link for you or anything like that, but supposedly it cuts, let me take it out of the package. Supposedly it cuts these 3 corner shapes. So this one here might be the one we would use for tags, and this would be like snipping off the edges of your things. Let's just give it a try. I don't know how it's going to work. So we want the long edge. If it doesn't work well, we will just cut it ourselves. But basically, it's going to make something into a tag shape. I don't know that these are, first of all, the tag needs to be a little shorter here, I believe. So I'm going to trim that, but this was a good one to try it on. I think for a smaller tag, you would be fine. That is the biggest angle that it cuts. On this giant journal card, we could try cutting the little tiny angle just to snip the corners, and I do like that. So if I can get it in there, it just snips the corner, just like if you did it with scissors. Now, I think scissors is probably easier, but this, you know, is possible at least. I don't know if you guys can see the little snips. It just snips the little angle, and then this one just, this is the biggest angle it will cut, and it cut it there. So let me go ahead and trim off some of this tag. I don't know what we could use that for, but maybe something. And let's try it again on the big one and see if I like it. Well, A, it's not straight, so there's that. But, I don't know if I love it. I don't know. And this one, we can try it. I've got two pieces glued together, and it kind of wanted to stick it and separate them. Yeah, see that one, it didn't cut. So there's the tag shape. It's much like these little shipping tags. See how the little shipping tags just have the little snip? It's basically that same little snip. So instead of snipping it with scissors and then folding it, you know, putting it over there, flipping it upside down, I think this might work for that. I think it was like $10 or something. I don't know. But there's that. So going to France, I'm hoping to actually take a trip to France in March or so. I don't know. If my retreat's going to be in March, we'll have to see. But my son is sick right now, so I can't go anywhere. I was planning a trip this year to go, but then my son got sick, and so I just haven't made it to go shopping for you guys in person, but I will. I hope to be able to take some retreats where you all can eventually come with me to France and do buying in person in France together. So all I really want to add to these is a label. We just need to pick out some cute labels for them. And maybe label adding could be done off camera to speed things up, but let's look at some of these labels I printed. Where are they? Right here, and right here. So we have these labels. Let me see if any of them will work. These ones. These ones are from the paper cameo. The paper cameo. And I printed them in the 5x7 size. They're pretty cute. I don't know. Then these are also paper cameo. One of these ones might work. Let me see what this one looks like. No, yeah, there is. Just worldwide, pretty much, traveling. But I have friends that I can visit in France. And so, you know, it's not like I would be going, not knowing anyone, just as a tourist. My love of French paper. Pretty much. So my entire life, I sold antiques. I had my own antique store that I owned, and then I sold my own stuff that I bought. You know, the store bought. I bought my own, you know, stuff there. But I also leased out spaces to people who rented a booth, and so they could sell their own things at my store. So I have been in love with antiques for a very long time. all different kinds of antiques. And so whenever I got sick, it just became necessary to sell things that were smaller and easier to deal with, like furniture and that kind of thing. It really I couldn't physically do it anymore, so I did need something different. Let me cut out a couple of these labels. These are also the paper cameo. So I did start selling some small things like paper because physically that's what I was able to do. I wasn't able to do all of the other things anymore. But the love of French paper specifically. So in America, you know, we're a much younger country than most of the world, right? So in America, we don't have as much antiques, as old of antiques as the rest of the world. And France specifically has a lot of antiques. They're a much older country, and the style of stuff in France has always been a little more fancy than America, right? They were always a little more fancy people than Americans were. And so for me, it started with like home decor things from France. And then slowly but surely, I got more and more into the paper side of it, and learning about old paper, first of all. But I don't know. It just kind of happened. It wasn't a plan. There was never a plan for this kind of a thing. It just happened. I don't know about that, but I like those. River cruise would be way safer, possibly, but then I couldn't do the things I wanted to do there. Yes, I'm sure it has, Melanie. Ooh, Shelly's going to Leon. Awesome, Shelly. Awesome. I do have a nice story about how I started doing this, how I became, you know, a paper seller or whatever you want to call me. We'll save that for another time. We'll save that for a sit down talk kind of time. Let me figure out what we're going to stick on this. So these are all paper cameo. And I think these ones, all of these ones, so I'm going to show you the big ones of these, because these ones for the Italian ladies journals are awesome. So all of this paper cameo, this is all one kit from her. And then there's these. And yeah, I have a lot of these things and I could just do it myself, but I'm like you guys, I don't have time to do it myself. So we just bought the kit. And then these are some other ones that are more Frenchy, less Italian, but yeah, these ones. So anyway, I think I'm going to use the ones that we have out here. Time's sake, I like them. I think they're fine. So we'll go forward with those. They're really pretty. Let's do it. So I would like us to be able to go over, and we'll do a journal retreat in France where we have some time to make journals. But I know for a lot of people, when they go to France, they're not going to want to sit at a hotel and make journals. So I think we could get some journal, retreat in, as well as the sightseeing, and most importantly, the shopping, where we can go to all the little hidden gem spots that my friends do and shop. And so I think we could take some tours of people to France and do, a junk journaling experience. And I think I am just going to stick this here because I need to cover up that lady's arm or that little girl's arm. Can you guys see the little girl's arm? Where is it? I don't even, oh, it's right here. This is her hand coming down right here. And so I think I'm just going to stick this right there. Yes, it covers up quite a bit of the dress, but I actually like it. So I'm going to do it. The labels are from the paper, what did I just say? The paper Cameo, and they are not, to my knowledge, this one might be, I don't know, but they didn't say Italian. If you just look under paper Cameo on Etsy, I'm sure you will see this label kit. I don't know, I just found labels, some labels that I liked. I use the same labels over and over and over again. So yeah, I was looking for some specifically different labels. These all need a good press underneath a crafting mat or whatever. But we created 3 tags. They're not fully finished. I think we need a little more decorating on the tag part at least. Let's go ahead and put the whole reinforcers in here quickly. And then we have ledger up here. So let's go ahead and add the ledger number stencil. So anytime I'm using ledger, if I don't have the piece with the page number, I will add my own page number with one of these original brass stencils. So there is an open corner right here, and I'm going to attempt to stick this ledger number in there and stencil it. And I did change my little dauber thing. Let me position this quick. I want to get it in the right spot. I may or may not have it there, but we're going to do it. There we go. So we have a little ledger number up there at the top. This one, I could do it over here. I think I'm going to, just because we have it out and we're doing it. So we're doing it. Let's add it right there. I may not get it perfect, but it's all right. Perfect. Okay. That's that. Change my little thing, or else I'll go to ink something thinking I'm getting vintage photo and get black. That's happened a couple of times. And then my baby wipe for wiping off my stencil. Sorry for shaking you. Okay, there's that. Let's do the little hole reinforcers. I know, I'm looking for more of them so I can share them with you guys. Right now, we don't have enough to share, but maybe in the near future. I'm doing some hole reinforcers a little bit lighter. I just don't want the super dark ones. I don't think. Maybe I do. Let me see. Let me see if I do want the dark ones now that I don't have them out. On this one, I do. So let's do that. And then we need to move on to another project. These projects are taking way longer than I anticipate them taking in my brain. Goodness. The only thing I would say when you ink your little things is don't use any distress. Use archival or something that's non-water reactive. Because I did it with distress just because it was on my desk and I was like, oh, okay, it'll be, you know, quick and easy because this ink is here. But because it's water reactive, when you put glue on your finger, you know, to put the glue in underneath of it, it reacts and then it spreads the dark vintage photo everywhere. So do it with archival or a different kind of non-water reactive ink. It's just a little cleaner of a finished product. There's that one. Let's go ahead and do it on this one also. We'll just get them done. So tomorrow we can play with some lace. Obviously, I need to make a million more tags and journal cards. So next, let's use some handwritten documents. I got it ever so slightly off again. There we go. Let's use some handwritten documents and make some more tags and more journal cards. And these documents, again, you could use scans instead of the originals. I'm just going to use the originals. Part of the thing with when people buy my journals is, you know, they get a lot of original stuff in their journals. So let's do it. I'm going to call these 3 done. There might be something else, but for now we're going to call, I mean, obviously I'll put lace in, but I'm not going to waste your guys' time with it. But for now, let's call these 3 done. This is what they really look like. Okay, they're very simple. I know. Let's move on and do something else. For handwritten documents, we have the Spain ones that you all got a page of in your kit. We have some French handwritten ones. Let me pull a Spain one just because it's easy to get to. So here is a random Spain handwritten document. Let me see what else we have. Every time I need something that is just like plain, all I can find is fancy. And when I need fancy, all I can find is plain. So here's a bunch of antique handwritten documents. I want to make some little fold out little folios. Ooh, thank you for the thumbs up. Ooh, she says, I forgot my thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for me, it's 7 a.m., but for everyone else in Eastern Standard Time, it's 10. But depending on where you are, you know, work it back to your time zone. Yes, Lacey Jane, so do I, but I do try to speed it up when I'm on camera. Let me find some French handwritten documents. What do we want to use? We have a bin right here. Oh, I know. I do know. Let's use some of these. So for French ones, we have super old stuff. Like all of these. That one was dated 1788. We have all of these little tidbits. There's even some robin's egg blue. Don't look, Kendall. There's robin's egg blue. There's tiny little notes. And oh my gosh, look at how weird this is. Look at how weird this is. What is this? It's got like a little stick with string around it, and it's bound through all of these tiny little notes. I don't know what this is, but it's bound like this with this little stick right here. Anyway, there is some robin's egg blue little notes in here, so we can use this. some of those little stampy things. Cool. For handwritten, I want some sturdy, big pages. Like this is sturdy. This is sturdy, but it's a little too crinkly. I want some sturdy, big pages. Maybe we'll just make one together right now, and then we can come back in and make some more. I need this to not be bound right now. And it's bound. Let me get my smaller scissors. So the documents come and they're bound with this red string. I have taken my little tiny Tim Holtz scissors and bent the tip upwards to help me catch these strings because I have to take apart some ledgers and books and whatnot. So I've just bent the tip up to kind of help me get the strings and not the paper. These Spain ones are not too bad, but I don't know if we got all of that. And then they're bound again right here. So they just stitched all these old documents together. And this is what I'm looking for right here. A nice clean page. So let's make one with that. We have all kinds of stuff here. And no space for any of it. Okay. Let's set this over here. This guy. Take the string out. Only 9 in Florida. Oh, it's only 9 for you? I see. Well, I figured 7 a.m. for me because that's pretty much like rolling right out of bed. Obviously, I'll have to wake up at 5 because I need to go get coffee first. So for this document little thingy we're going to make, we could fold it up and make a pocket and then do some other folds. I could just do like a tri-fold thing and kind of decorate it. It's really big. The problem is it's really, really big. I think we just want to fold it and we'll add some decoration and then we'll put it in the pocket. Obviously, you could cover a tag, and I probably will do that also. But for this one, let's just fold it like this, and we'll just give whoever gets the journal a place. You know, we could add some writing space inside if we wanted, but I'm just going to leave it for them to play with. But right here where there's this open spot, I'm going to add one of those German pieces of scrap. My other ledger page is probably dry by now, so we could do that one too. But let's add a piece of German scrap to this. Just, you know, a pretty little piece of German scrap just to decorate it. This one just needs a little bit finer cutting here. This is German scrap, made in Germany, embossed. Like the Victorian scrapbook albums. So there's that. Let's glue that on. And then I'm just going to tuck that in a pocket. And then let's make something else with this. I did want to make something that folded and had writing space, but I think somebody would be happy just finding this in their journal. So it's really long. So if we had a big pocket, where is our big pocket? We're going to have many big pockets, but this pocket, it's going to stick out the top. So I would need to find another big pocket. It's still going to stick out the top no matter what. So in that case, I'm just going to fold it, because I don't really want it to stick out the top of the book. So that can just go in there. It's just a piece of authentic ephemera for someone to play with. Let's make something else with the actual handwritten page. Let's use this one. It's nice, sturdy paper. It's blank on the back. I mean, we will have to add something to kind of... It's sturdy. I don't think we can use it just as it is, though. I think we're going to have to add something to the back of it. Let's do... I love this little ruffled edge right here. Can you guys see it? Like, look at how perfectly... Like, you couldn't faux age something and get it that perfect. I love that, but I don't know how we're going to keep that part of it. What if we folded it up and then folded it into a little booklet? So it's a little booklet and it'll have pockets right here to tuck some things. And then I will just leave all of this gorgeousness as it is. This is our front here. I think we could decorate the inside right here. We'll probably also add a little German scrap right there. It's just, it fits it. It fits it perfectly. So let's just do it. Here's a really small little one. That's super sweet right there. Yeah, I like that one. If we wanted something a little bigger, I like this. It's small. The scale is right. Let's do it. Let's do that one there. And then for the front, we're going to have to add a little more than just German scrap. I'm not going to get away with super easy all the time. So German scrap, when you use a glue stick, because it's embossed and die cut in a whole bunch of tiny little places, it's going to eat up your glue stick. Just saying. So there's that. Well, you don't need to find it on Etsy. You can find it right here, Melanie. I sell the German scrap by the sheet often. I have sold it many times in the past. So we have all the German scrap anyone will ever need. We have old and we have the current German scrap that's still being made in Germany today. Let's go ahead and decorate the front of it. We will leave this like the original way it is, but we'll decorate on this side. I found a little gob of glue. Make sure they give you the right one this time. Remind me what that was, Christy. Make sure they give me the right what this time. Let's go ahead and add, it's the size. I want the lady on there. So let's go ahead and add a lady. I promise not everything will have a lady, but I'm in lady mode and we're doing ladies. So let's do it. For the ladies, we will probably have some of this book page. There was the lady there with the little girl that will fit on there. Coffee. Oh, I know, Christy. Oh, I know. If I'm going at 5, hopefully, you know, it's not going to be that busy. So probably won't be that many people to give me the wrong drink or whatever. I really want to use one of these ladies. I like their dresses, but they're a little bit too tall. Let me see what one of these looks like on here. Let me fussy cut it out quick. I'm going to go try Dutch Brothers again in the morning, and we will see. I'm just going to need it because I have to do the craft with me, and then need to work on the journals for a good long while. And then I need to get to separating out all those tags that we sold on Tuesday, and also all of the eyeglass little thingies. Those little eyeglass, they're not eyeglasses, watch crystals. You know, they're glass, and so I have to be extra careful with how I pack them. And so those all need done. I have to prep everything like that before we can start invoicing. So I'm hoping to get to that. I don't want to get behind. So right now, everybody that's paid has been shipped. There are a lot of open invoices. So if you haven't received an invoice and you were expecting one for anything other than Tuesday, then check your email, because chances are there is probably one in there. I have a lot of people packed and ready to go and no payment yet. And every morning I have to check everybody's name, you know, to see who I can ship. So that's what's happening with that. And then I should be able to get everyone done, everyone invoiced for Tuesday over the weekend and packed and shipped. And then on Tuesday this week, or this coming week, something got here that you guys have all been asking about. We might have that on Tuesday. Or we might do something else. We might do the French documents that we've been trying to do. She really does fit on there. Awesome, Joyce. You enjoy your dinner. You enjoy your dinner. Hopefully we can hang out again tomorrow in the morning or next Friday. Thanks for coming. She fits on there so nicely. I like her. Let's see which color of paper we want. Maybe we want just a little bit tucked back there. I don't know. I think we do. I think we're going to tuck this one back there. It's not quite the right size page. It's all a little bit too narrow. Let me get another page, a bigger page. Not that book, not that book, but maybe this book. Let's try it. You could also put ledger back there. Ledger would be good. Some dictionary or encyclopedia might have been nice back there. It's wider. It's not perfect, but I think it will work. It's nearly exactly the same tone though. So here's where I need a different color of paper. See how my book page, while the text is different, it's the same color as that old antique handwritten document. So I can't do it. I have to have something different. Let's look at some book page from here. This is a good one. It's wider and it's a different color. So whatever book page this is, it will be good enough. Okay, I like it. Let's do it. And then I got glue all over this page. Did you see me? I don't know where I need to go. So we can use the other ledger page that I glued coffee dyed paper to, and we can get that one made into tags and or journal cards. Then I'm going to get out some of the master boards that I already made, and we're going to make those. ink her up a little tiny bit. She really doesn't need it. Maybe I'm not going to on this one. Her dress is vibrant enough where it seems to be okay. We're almost done with this yucky white glue stick. It's just falling apart on me. Big chunks of glue. Okay. I need to know where the end of my thingy is. And let's go ahead and trim this off. This paper is soft enough you could probably tear it. Maybe we'll make some tags quick to go inside of this. It'll be like a little removable folio made out of an antique document from Spain. So that's what we've got on the front. Just got this gorgeous lady. I would have preferred her to be a little more straight, but it's okay. We're going to add a little label down here. And I think we have some Rachel labels that are pinkish or have pinkish tones in them. So let me look at those quick. I mean, there is this little blue one with the rooster. There's this blue one with the rose. She has some colored flowers in her hands. Maybe a bigger label too. Let's look. What do you guys think about this one? I think I'm going to go for that one. Now let's make something that doesn't have ladies on it. What do you guys say? I get sick of doing the same thing over and over, even though I have 3 journals. And so just because I made one of these doesn't mean I'm going to make 3. I don't know. I don't make every single thing the same for all 3 journals. It just is how I feel, I guess, you know. However the journal feels. Some of them get it, some of them don't. Some of them get something different. I don't like to keep them identical. Ooh, don't move. Go back. I think that's really pretty. So then it opens, and we have that, and we're going to stick tags in here, and then we'll have the back just left as this gorgeous old document. So there's that one up close so you can see it. And then it opens. I'm sorry about my camera. Let's make some tags out of this thingy. We'll set that off to the side. This one, we need to cut around this coffee dyed paper. Everything is super curly. Like I said, we have humidity here today too. We normally don't, but it's been raining all around me all week long, pretty much. So, while we didn't get rain here at this exact house, everywhere around me pretty much did. So, we have this little strip right here. I'm going to cut that off. Go over a little more because there's that little piece. Actually, no, because we're gonna collage and decorate these anyway, so we don't need to worry about this little missing piece right here. I'm just going to leave it because chances are I'm going to put something there anyway. We'll see how that one works out. But for now, I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to do a 3.5 inch again. So I'm going to get all my big tags, well, not all, but a lot of my big tags done. And then we're going to do 3.5 again, and that will leave us the perfect little skinny tag. So these are the 3 we got that time. You could make these shorter if you just, cut off a strip off the bottom, and then you'd have shorter tags. These ones are really curling. Okay, let's figure out what we want to put on there. I said I wasn't going to put ladies, but I'm probably going to put ladies on there. Only because if I have 3 journals and I have 3 out of this ledger, I can use 3 out of that ledger, and the ladies are easy. So let's just do it quick, and then we'll move on from ladies. You guys are like, I'm sick of seeing ladies. It is an Italian ladies journal, in my defense. These ones are all too wide. I am dying to use one from this page. And I would love to use this purple lady, but I don't know how to deal with the fact that her skirt is on top of her skirt. So because I don't know how to do that, we're not going to mess with it. These ones, those ones would fit. Let's cut out this little girl and this woman. And then tomorrow, I'm going to play with lacy stuff everywhere in the journal, and we will make some new pockets and new tabs. I'm going to watch a YouTube video that's in my saved list, and it's got new pockets and tags that I haven't made before in it. So we'll make those tomorrow. No news yet on my son's biopsy. They said maybe we would hear by Monday, but it all goes to my son's primary care doctor, and he's the doctor that just has made every mistake possible. I don't think I told you guys. So they sent him to get an MRI done, and the doctor ordered an MRI of my son's right ankle. And it's like we get to the place, the MRI place, and we waited like 2 weeks because insurance requires you to wait for them to do the prior authorization and approve the test and all of the stuff. So we waited 2 weeks to get the test done. The test is an hour away from us. We drove to the place to get it done. And we get there, and the lady's like, yeah, he's scheduled for a right ankle MRI. And I'm like, what? The doctor didn't tell us anything about a right ankle MRI. It's my son's left calf that has the, bump or mass or whatever growth, whatever is in there. And I said, it's the left leg. And she's like, well, I can't change the doctor's orders. I don't know why he ordered it that way. But yeah, we can only do what he ordered. And I'm like, well, I'm sure he made a mistake. Like, there's absolutely nothing and no reason why he would order it that way. And of course, they can't get a hold of the doctor's office because it was when the doctor's office was closed. It was last Saturday that my son had to go have this done. And so he couldn't get his test done because they ordered the wrong one. And so while mom's trying to be all patient and, nice and stuff, the doctor has ordered every single test wrong for my son. the entire time. And I'm just not understanding why. So yeah, that was the latest thing with my son. You guys have big plans for Labor Day? Because I was hoping to maybe take like a day off on Labor Day weekend. But does anybody have any travel plans for Labor Day? Anybody doing anything? Are you guys having like barbecues? Is it like, so for the rest of the country, it's my understanding that Labor Day is kind of like the last summer like weekend kind of thing. And then after that, it kind of gets cold for you guys. For us here, it doesn't cool down until well into October. Like we'll be over 100 pretty much through October. And then we'll slowly start to get into the 90s towards, I guess, the end of October, or mid to end. I don't know. But it doesn't really cool off here until the end of October, like Halloween, first week of November kind of a situation. So we don't really, we could have a barbecue or a pool party or whatever, but, it's still really, really uncomfortable for us and hot here. There's a lady for that one. Practicing medicine, I know. I'm trying to keep that in mind, that it is not a perfect science and all of that kind of stuff, but it was very frustrating to say the least, though, because my son wants answers. He wants to feel better. But anyway. So what are you guys doing for Labor Day? There's lots of frilly little roses and all kinds of necklaces and hair things. This one is hard to cut out. Don't get cool until mid-October. Well, I was watching Gail the other day, and Gail is like in a sweatshirt. She's got her heater on, and it's about to snow outside. I'm like, oh my goodness. No, we don't have anything like that here. The wearing the sweatshirt sounded nice. I don't know if my hormones will let me wear a sweatshirt this winter, but we'll see. It sounds cozy. Okay. I have a little more trimming to do around her skirt, but she has a giant, giant ruffly skirt. She took a moment to cut out. Let's get rid of that. And that. And let's put her over here maybe, and her here. Maybe. Let's see how that looks. Okay. So these are very, very pale scans of these. I'm going to make an edit here on her skirt. I just don't think I need all the extra ruffle. So I'm going to be my own fashion designer and give that a little trim. I think we're good. I think we can do it like this. I think I would rather have these over here, though, and this here, because there was this big open space here, and this will cover that and fill it in a little more. So let's do that with some book page, of course. That's just our little formula that we're using tonight, where everything has some book page in the background. Now on these ones, if we weren't going to use book page, we could use a little paper lace doily. Do we want to do that with some book page or in place of some book page? I chose this doily because it is whiter in color. I can never tell if I have one doily or if I have two doilies. Do you guys have that problem when you have like vintage paper doilies? Is it one or is it two? I think this is 2. But I can't be sure. And I don't want to glue it down and have it be 2. It's like taking the back off of a sticker. 3-day weekend, go somewhere. Cool. Very fun. I love listening to her. So I usually have her on while I'm doing something. I watched her. She was one of the earliest people that I started watching. And of course, you know, my style and stuff has changed a little bit over the years, but I guess we're just going to assume this is 1 and we're going to glue it down. I don't know. So anyway, Gail was one of the very first people I started watching. I watched a lot of her during COVID, I'll tell you that. Let's see if we like the doily. I'm just not sure. It covers up an awfully lot of the ledger. Let's save the doily for another project, maybe. See how I'm making, though, where I have 3, so if something doesn't work on one, I can instantly move it over and try it on the other. That's working out really well so far. This one is definitely a good one for this one. So let's glue this one down here. And I'm keeping my formula very simple. It's still taking me longer than I would like it to make these, but you know, I'm reading chat and whatever. It's a little different than when you're just, oops, creating all on your own. I'm attempting to read chat. Let's just say that. I'm attempting to read chat. And I am going to give her a little bit of ink. Just makes her kind of stand out a little bit better. And she is a little too, just the printing isn't colorful enough for me. So I'm going to do a little edit on that, and basically just for skin tone. The skin shouldn't be the same color as her white dress. And so I will very carefully try to get her arm here. And we got a little more than her arm, but that's okay. We'll just kind of give everything a little once over. And then that'll go there. Perfect. Okay, let's glue her down. I'm at a glue page. Let's use the back side of this one. I need to do some botanical ones, so ones with flowers, and I also need to do some with birds. I need to find where the bottom of my tag is so I know where to put her. Preferably, I don't want her up in the header, but I would like her straight. Okay, there's that one. These will all need hole reinforcers. I don't know if I'll take the time to do that right now or if I'll just move on to another project, but these will all get hole reinforcers and some sort of label. Or in lieu of a label, I might just put a flower or something like that. There's that one. Wanting to curl again, but let's get rid of some trash here. Okay. Then for these two, I keep working myself over and over and over. And before too long, I'm going to have everything right in front of me here. We need to find a book page for these ones. I have this little skinny strip here, and I'm wondering if I could go up and cover that little bit. Let's do it. So let's put glue all over this. It seems to me that just about every time I sit down, I'm using between 1 and 3 Oohoo glue sticks. And I know I'm crafting for several hours, but still. Going through the Oohoo. I'm going to pull that down to just cover that. Don't want my text crooked. Okay, there's that one. She needs ink as well. And she actually is wearing a brown dress. So that gives me the ability to ink her a little more than I probably would the other ones. And that will kind of refresh her color too. The scans on these, not the best, and I haven't taken them into Photoshop yet. So if I had taken them into Photoshop, I could have adjusted all of the hues and the colors and made them a little brighter, I think. And then I don't know if I can ink her right here or if I can't. Basically recoloring her dress. Better? I like it. Let's glue it. Here, I'll type it in. I think this. She used to do Happy Mail from me all the time. Like she would show, she would purchase from my Etsy store and she would show what she purchased, and I would send her Happy Mail and she would show that on our channel. So I have sent her a million packages, and I think that is how she spells her last name. Now it has been a while since I sent her a package, but I think that's correct. And her channel name on YouTube is literally just her name, just like that. And she makes journals. She makes a video every day, and she makes journals every day. Ephemera every day. All of that stuff. She's fun to watch. Just the sound of her voice alone is, you know, it's a good one to have on in the background. And also, she makes themed journals. Like I like to make themed journals. She makes themed journals. That's one of the reasons why I started watching her, is because not everything was the same all the time. She goes from theme to theme, kind of like I do, where she'll make spring journals or, Christmas journals or fall journals. And then she does different, like she makes a bunny journal, or she makes, different themes. So you're seeing a bunch of different styles and ways of decorating and all kinds of things all the time with her, which is great. So there's that one and that one. Now we need to do this one. First thing first, this little lady, and I'm just going to say sisters here, a woman maybe, or a young woman and her younger sister possibly, need a little bit more color. So I'm going to ink the edge, and then I'm going to go in and give them a little more color. So first of all, her hair shouldn't be like black and white. We can give her hair a little more color. Her face can have a little more color. Up here, same thing. Her hair can have a little color. I mean, you could color these with those Tim Holtz pencils, like we were doing with the black and white ones. You could certainly color, change the color or color over the printed colored ones too. But even just taking the vintage photo over top of the colored parts, like, the printed colored parts, it helps it so much. It just darkens the color and makes it look better. Okay. Yep. So let's do, I was laughing at the fussy cutting some lady, since she remembers she has them. We all forget our stuff. We do. We forget what we have. I'm going to go ahead and put them on there. We don't need a whole lot of book page showing anyway, so let's just do this one. It's here, waiting to be used. My glue stick is a mess. Yeah, you guys will be surprised. You'll be watching Gail and you'll be like, wait, that's Kate's stuff, because she shows my stuff, she tells you where it's from. I don't always have the things that Gail has, because that was a little while ago, but she does show the stuff. So if you see something and you run over to my Etsy, it may or may not be there. I'm just saying. She has some stuff from several years ago. Let's see if I can, oh yeah, I can get another page out of here. I thought maybe I bent over her feet, but no, it's just inked. Gail's made digitals out of things she's gotten, just like I told you guys can. I told you, lots of the bigger shops and channels and whatever, they buy the things and they make the digitals, and that makes me happy. Makes me happy to see what people do with things that they get from me. It'd be boring if I just kept it all. I hope that is straight. I don't know, but I hope it is straight. Okay, let's cut this out. And then I think I'm going to call it good with these. You guys know, I'm going to put whole reinforcers on them. And probably a label or flower or some other decoration. It's a little too wet to actually be cutting. If you cut it when it's super wet like this, sometimes, especially if it's a lighter weight paper, like this is a little rag paper, but sometimes it will start to peel back what you just glued down. Now we can at least see what we made. Okie dokie. We got 15 minutes left. Not really enough time to start another project. Maybe I will just finish them. But I will be here in the morning. I really like these. I think these are so cute. So there's this one. Not finished, but getting there. And this one. And this lady. She almost looks like she's mad. Almost. Let's go ahead and put the reinforcers in, and I'm going to put a page number at the top of each one of those. We can use our last 15 minutes finishing these and then start fresh tomorrow morning. I will watch that video so I can make the new pocket with the new tags. That might be straight or in the center. It may be or it may not be. But yeah, and then play with some lace tomorrow. I'm so excited to play with lace in this journal. It has been killing me because, you know, it's an Italian ladies journal. There's going to be a lot of lace in it, but we haven't done it yet. So I'm so excited to play with some lace. Fabric pockets. If you have room in your journal to do a fabric flip, that would be awesome too. I don't have room in these ones to do a fabric flip, but if you did, it would be awesome. I want to, I just think it's going to be too bulky, so that's why I haven't yet. Keep sticking to my thumb when I try to move them. I don't think it's perfectly centered, but we'll do it anyway. Okay. Well, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me and doing these journals. I know a lot of people have to watch the craft with me after the fact. And so if you're watching after the fact, thank you for watching after the fact too. And thank you guys for leaving comments on the video. That also helps. So the thumbs up is also, you know, it's a good thing. I appreciate you guys doing that. And I'm also, you know, like, because I do the live video instead of a pre-recorded video, I'm kind of fighting YouTube with it. YouTube really likes the pre-recorded crafting videos. They kind of penalize my channel because I do the the live videos. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to get back into doing the pre-recorded, you know, videos. They just stick to my finger like crazy. But anyway, so if you leave a comment, that helps out the channel. If you leave a thumbs up, that helps out the channel. And hopefully, eventually, YouTube will change their little algorithm to where they're not penalizing so much because I do a live, right? It's funny because they really like the little short reel things, YouTube. But doing a reel is a little hard when you're like making something. I mean, yes, you can film it, edit it down, and I do like watching those. It's just a lot of editing. Faith Ann says, I have a feeling this is going to be a long process. Oh, goodness. You just got to tear into him, Faith Ann. The fun is using the things, not having the things, right? If you use them, you know, something else will come your way It's not like this is it and you'll never have another one, right? So I don't know. I think we all go through that though, where we're afraid to use the things, or, you know, we just need to have them in our possession and love on them for a little bit before we use them. I think we're all kind of like that. But I tell you, from personal experience, long before I bought and sold the papers, I was just like you guys, and I would buy the papers and the beautiful things, and I would hold on to them, and I would, you know, love them and whatever before I could use them. But the fun, the joy comes from using them, from making the things out of them. And with me, everything that you guys, you know, get, you could get again. I mean, you know, I understand there's a cost component to that, but I just want you to know nothing is so precious. We don't have priceless documents here. We're not crafting with priceless documents. So I'm going to stick this one up here in this side. I really just need to get another dauber and bring it in here so I don't have to switch this out every time. But shanked my finger. I've heard from many people that they're having a hard time using the Italian papers. And I just want to say, I think I've stuck, I did stick this on the wrong way. I'm like, why is it not inky? Because I was inking the Velcro part. And now I've moved my stencil. So I think we're going to have to leave that one where it is, or else it'll be messed up. But a lot of people are having a hard time using their Italian papers. But we have new ones coming. And so we're going to have these. They're not going to be so precious that they're just going to go away one day. I mean, I don't think. So I think you can use them. There's those. See how when you stencil it, this is the original stenciled one, and then these two are the ones I just did. People do like to not only craft with the originals, but when you sell journals, people really do enjoy buying ones that have original ephemera and documents and stuff inside of it. Now, not everyone, I get it, not everyone wants to do that. I totally understand that. I do. But this is just my experience, you know. I used to hoard the things before I could, you know, buy them all, or before I was buying and selling or whatever. I hoarded them too for a while. But then slowly but surely I saw somebody make something amazing on YouTube, and I was like, well, you know, I'm going to give it a try. And I did, and I fell in love, and here we are. So, but, you know, and don't be afraid to make a mistake either. Some people don't like to use their originals, or are afraid to use their originals because they're afraid that if they use it and they don't like what they made, or they're going to make a mistake or whatever, that they'll be wasting that document or whatever it may be. And I can just tell you, I make things sometimes that I don't love either. And I think, oh, you know, darn, that didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Nobody's perfect. Nobody just makes perfect things all the time. But here's what I can tell you. Anytime you make something that you think, oh, gee, I wish I didn't do whatever, and, you know, I wish I could take it back. Every single mistake that you make making a junk journal is fixable. Every single thing is correctable. There is never anything, not anything, in the junk journal world that you cannot correct. Everything, like even sewing in like your signature backwards upside down, you just cut it out and you do it again. And so every single thing is fixable. For instance, in one of these journals, which one? This one, this one, this one right here, I glued this Italian paper in upside down. because when I flipped over the journal cover, I just wasn't paying attention and glued this in with the flower going down. Now, you totally could have left it like that. You could have. But because I knew it was upside down, I fixed it. I just glued another piece of paper over it. I've sewn in a signature upside down. You cut it out, you do it again. You make a tag that you hate. Worst case scenario is you cover it up and you start over. Or a lot of times we're honestly too hard on ourselves and we are our own worst critic. And so sometimes if you make something and you're not perfectly happy with it, just walk away from it. Just put it to the side and look at it again tomorrow or in a few days or maybe in a few weeks. Sometimes walking away from it and then looking, you'll come back and you'll look at it and you'll be like, why was I thinking this was ugly? This is beautiful. This is great. Like sometimes we just get in our own heads and we have to walk away and stop messing with it to just let it be. And then, you know, we realize, oh, we were just hangry. We're fine. The tag's beautiful. Sometimes that's the way it is. So don't be too hard on yourselves. Don't get in your own head and just understand that every single one of these people that you are watching on YouTube makes mistakes. Every single one of them. Trust me, during COVID, I watched so much YouTube junk journal videos. I have seen every single one of those big, huge 100,000, 280,000 subscriber channels make mistakes. I've seen them sew in their signatures upside down. I've seen them accidentally make something that doesn't fit their page or whatever the case may be. They make ugly things sometimes. They just do. We all do. It happens. Every single person does it. It's always fixable. The thing is with those, you know, any channel that you're watching, they don't give up. They just keep going. And that's the same thing that you have to do at home. You just have to keep going. If you have to walk away from it, walk away from it. If you think, oh, I'm never going to be happy with this, and I left it for a couple days and I'm still not happy with it, cover it up with book page and start over. Or turn it into something else. Sometimes you make something, like if I made this tag and I thought this tag was really, really hideous. If you couldn't cover it up with book page or whatever, cut it up into collage pieces or something else. Like you can, junk journaling is really a process of repurposing. So if you make something and you're never going to be happy with it and you tried, use it for something else, repurpose it. We all are our own worst critic. Every single artist out there is our own worst critic. It's part of that kind of creative brain, right? If we have that part of our brain that allows us such tremendous creativity to make beautiful things from basically junk or trash, the downside of that creativity part of your brain is also the second guessing yourself part of your brain, the insecurity kind of part of your brain. So I think understanding that creativity and judging your own art go hand in hand. You can't have the creativity without having that part of your brain that judges yourself and your art that you create. Helps me to understand that when I'm doing that and I'm judging myself and I'm being critical, you can't have the creativity part without it. So which one would you rather not have, right? You want the creativity. Well, then the judging part comes with it. And understanding it just means, oh, I'm just being too critical of myself. Who cares? Oh, I'm sure that'll look better tomorrow when I walk away from it. It's just kind of helps me to work through it and get over it and not be so like, oh my gosh, you know, I need to give up and I never need to make another journal again or whatever the case may be. We all have those days, right? For me, a lot of it is hangry. Don't craft hungry. Don't do it. Don't, craft when, you need to take 5 minutes and go do something else. Don't be in a rush and in a hurry, You got to craft when it's the right time to craft. Anyway. Yes, do not compare yourself. Perfect thing to say, Christy. Don't compare yourself to those other people, because no one is going to make something exactly like somebody else anyway. You just couldn't. Even if there was a recipe or formula, it's always going to come out different. So A, it's impossible to make exactly what they are making. B, you don't want to be like them. You want to be you, and you want to create what's in your brain and what, your creative style is. So, just keep that in mind. All those people out there, they all started just like you did. They all started, like wherever you guys are at. If you're experts, if you're beginners, if you've never made a junk journal before in your life, all of those people out there making them all started from somewhere. So anyway, that's kind of that. You just got to start. That's the most important thing, is just start. Make something that you enjoy making, and follow that path. As long as you're having fun and you like what you're doing, it doesn't matter whether other people like what you're doing. And if you're trying to make stuff to sell stuff, I can tell you with 100% pure honesty, there is a buyer out there for absolutely everything. I see things every day that I think are hideous. Do I tell the people I think they're hideous? Of course not. I try to find something nice to say about everything, because, I just think it's rude. Like, don't ever say something mean or rude or judge another person's art. You find something nice to say about it. Maybe you like the color. Maybe that's your favorite color. Maybe that is literally the only thing that's nice that you can say about that is, oh, I like that color purple you used. Then say that. Don't ever say anything bad about somebody's creativity or what they've made or whatever, because it's just not the right thing to do, right? So find something positive to say about it. But make sure what you're making makes you happy, and that you make for the joy of making. The selling part of it, there's a buyer out there for everything. There is millions of different styles of making junk journals, if that's your thing. There's millions of different styles. Every single kind of person has their own little tweak to whatever they're making. And there is a buyer out there for whatever you're making. It might, be a little bit of time before you find it or something. Don't give up on that. Just because you listed it in Etsy and it didn't sell the first day, don't give up on that. Etsy is a weird algorithm. It takes a long time for the Etsy algorithm to pick up people's shops and stuff like that. So just keep at it, keep making, make because making makes you happy, and find something nice to say about every single thing that you see out there. And you will be a much happier person, in my opinion. Took you a really long time to make. Yes, everyone does. Everyone still struggles. Trust me. Even those people out there that don't look like they're struggling, they're struggling. Nobody makes beautiful things every single day. They just don't. There are days, right? So, yeah. Exactly, Christy. You have to find your own path. And so there's that saying that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. And so while that is true, imitating someone's art or style or whatever, while that is absolutely true, you can't copy it one for one, because even if you tried, it's never going to come out that way. But I encourage everyone to put their own spin on something. Like right now, I am making these Italian lady journals, and they are based off of Rachel's, because it's Rachel's kit. She made Italian ladies journals. They're based off that. But mine are nothing like hers, because I use the supplies I have. I use the skills I have. I have a vision in my head of what I want the journals to look like, and I'm making those journals. I'm not trying to make a one-for-one copy of her journals. And so, I don't know. I just think you find your own style. And sometimes you have to kind of bounce around between styles and make a lot of different kind of things before you find your style. And maybe your style's always changing. Maybe that's your style, is that it's always changing. Anyway, I will shut up now. I will let you guys go. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate it. Let me read a couple of these comments coming in. Yes, most people make because it's a hobby and it's fun, something they enjoy. And when is saying she has a hard time if the book is still bound and the binding and cover is in good shape. Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of people that have a hard time taking apart books that are in good condition. The only thing I will say to you is there is a lot of books that are in good condition that get burned every single day because nobody is using them. And so take Edith Holden books, for instance. When you get your first Edith Holden book, it's so beautiful. And oftentimes, even though, the older ones were printed in the 70s, they're in such good condition that it is hard to like rip into your first Edith Holden book. But if we weren't using those Edith Holden books as a junk journal community, they would have all been burned because nobody wants them. When I first started buying Edith Holden books, I was buying them for $5 per book from a major online book reseller, book whatever, like World of Books, whatever that place is. They were $5 when I first started buying them, and they were that was just plentiful. You could have hundreds of them if you wanted for $5 a book. Now Edith Holden books are really, they're hard to find, and the price does fluctuate. Sometimes Edith Holden books from the 70s are $80. Sometimes they're $12. It just depends, right? But tearing up that Edith Holden book in the beginning was hard, but all of the beautiful things that I made from all of those beautiful Edith Holden pages was awesome. And because I'm using it, and because hundreds of other people are using the Edith Holden books to make junk journals, while we are tearing them up to repurpose them, they would literally have been incinerated and been nothing and been lost to the whole world for forever if we didn't use them. So that's all I will say about using books, is if we don't use them, we lose them. Now there are not priceless, but there are books that are very valuable that you probably shouldn't tear up because they're rare or whatever. But as long as it's a common book that is not very valuable, I think that it is perfectly acceptable to disassemble it and to reuse the parts. So you just got to kind of go with your own heart. Some people don't take apart Bibles because they think it's kind of sacrilegious to do that. In my opinion, taking apart a Bible. So first of all, the Bible is the most printed book in all of the world. So there are so many Bibles out there that you taking apart one is not going to hurt or harm anything. A, and B, it's the most common printed book in the world. There are so many of them that get burned every day because nobody uses them. Would you rather have that Bible be incinerated, burned with fire? Do you think that's sacrilegious more, or do you think taking it apart and repurposing that beautiful Bible, those beautiful pages, into art and sending that art into the world for everyone to enjoy? Do you think that's more sacrilegious, or being burned with fire? To me, using it, repurposing it for art and letting others enjoy it is far less sacrilegious than burning it. So that's my take on religious books also. We got off on a whole thing here. But so yeah, I take apart religious books because in the back of my mind, I know they get burned. And the rest of the books also. So I would much rather take them apart and let others enjoy the books, text, the paper, whatever, than just have it be lost. That's kind of happening to a lot of things in the world right now. If we don't find a way to repurpose, we lose the things. Think of, Indian sari silks, all those beautiful, Indian sari trims and things. If we didn't use them, if we weren't recycling them and using them, they get burned or put into giant heap landfill things, and most of that falls in the ocean or goes in the ocean anyway. So you're doing the planet a favor by using and repurposing, and you're saving that, from being lost for forever. Like if all the sari silk trim thingies got burned up, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have them to play with, right? To use in our journals, and they're beautiful, and so are the pages in books. So anyway, that's kind of the whole thing about all of that. Just love yourself and have fun making, make things that make you happy. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it. Make things that make you happy, whatever it is. As long as you're enjoying the process, then that's all that matters. Even if all you're doing is fussy cutting, but you never actually make anything. If you just enjoy the fussy cutting, then that's great. That makes you happy. That's all that matters. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. You guys have a good weekend. I will see you Tuesday for a live sale. I will see you Saturday for another Craft with Me. So in the morning, in like 12 hours from now, I will do another Craft with Me live. We'll make more stuff. And then I will see you Tuesday for the live sale. And I'll see you again Friday for another Craft with Me. Tuesday, we'll have the junk journal kit for September. And some surprises. I told you guys stuff came. The 19 people that are watching, well, less than that because I account for at least one of them. I don't know if my second monitor, I'm assuming it's just a second monitor, so it doesn't count for a person. But anyway, you guys that are here, the Italian paper is here. The new Italian paper is here. So we will be seeing that soon. All right, guys, you guys were the first ones to know. Shh, don't tell anyone. I'll see you in the morning. Bye. Bye, guys. Have a good night.